Hey, hey, hey. Happy Wednesday. Come on in. Pull up a chair. Gaming Gang Dispatch is in the air. Howdy, 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 gang. Welcome once again to the Duct Tape Studios. I'm Jeff McAleer, your host, here at the Gaming Gang Dispatch. Brought to you by, amazingly enough, thegaminggang.com, of which I happen to be the founder and editor-in-chief. So welcome aboard. Tonight is Wednesday, November 2nd, 2022. This is live stream 846. This is your first time hanging out, let me point out, super casual around here. Just talking about the latest in tabletop gaming news and taking a first look at a game. Every once in a while, I'll do a live review, but for the most part, it's usually first looks, which is what's going to be happening tonight. So I am going to be diving on into Wretched Space. It is a role-playing game from the Red Room, and we will be diving in to take a peek at this in just a bit. Also should mention that if you're not overly familiar with this stream, we do tackle the tabletop gaming news first. So if you are tuning in because you want to take a peek at Wretched Space, sit back, relax, put your feet up. It'll be probably around 35 minutes before we get into that. But if you are watching this stream 30 minutes or more after it finishes up, you can actually use the timestamps, which are located in the show notes, to skip past the tabletop gaming news if you would like. Although, as always, got some pretty cool news tonight. And those timestamps, they may actually be right there on screen, right in the timeline of the video as you're watching, depending on the device you might happen to be using. Should also point out, when you're not watching videos on the Gaming Gang channel, be sure to visit thegaminggang.com for all latest in tabletop gaming news, reviews, and a whole lot more that you won't find here on the YouTube channel. Also, this is a live stream, so that means there is chat available. It's not on screen. It's one of the ways that I keep some of the more unusual commenters at bay. And you must be a subscriber to the channel for at least 48 hours before you can take part in chat. Yet another way that I keep some of the more unusual commenters at bay. But if you want to say howdy, maybe you get a question, a comment, by all means, chime in and I will do my best to respond. First out the gate tonight is the Motor City Madman. Yes, the Madman is with us. He is one of our chat moderators. Kathy Evans, Stray Kismet, and Testy Trekkie, as well as Kevin R. Smith, have decided to join us. And I see the Happy Wargamer and Coco B are also in the house. So welcome aboard, everybody. Happy Hump Day. Yes. Happy All Saints Day as well. I think today is All Saints Day, isn't it? Yeah, what can I tell you? What can I tell you? Anywho, let's dive on into the news because I've got some cool stuff to talk about tonight. So first off, there's an interesting looking board game that's going to be arriving in January. I think it was originally slated for December, but I think there was a bit of a delay. It is from WizKids. I've got the latest on Rebuilding Seattle. The Great Fire of 1889 has burned down most of downtown Seattle, and you are the city planner tasked with rebuilding it. Manage economic resources to improve neighborhoods, erect new buildings and iconic landmarks, and address the needs of an ever-growing population to make Seattle better than ever. In Rebuilding Seattle, you're responsible for managing the zoning and expansion of a major neighborhood. Each round, your population grows, and you can either build a new building, expand into a new suburb, activate an event, or build a landmark before earning profit based on your neighborhood's commerce. You'll buy building types from a shared market, looking to find shapes that fit your grid and types that fit your strategy. Triggering citywide events can change the tide of the game, offering points, money, and expansions for the players, for the pleddies. The hell was that? And expansions for the players ready for it. You can even enact laws to give yourself the advantage. At the end of the game, whoever's neighborhood has earned the most points is the winner. Build. Carefully fit buildings into your neighborhood grid and construct landmarks on the right tile combinations. Expand. Suburb tiles connect to your grid however you like, creating uniquely shaped neighborhoods. Score. Earn points for building types, upgrades, landmarks, events, and remaining cash. Rebuilding Seattle also comes with a solo player deck, so you can still compete to build the best version of Seattle, even with just one player. Enjoy gameplay against a deck designed to simulate the actions of a second player to discover strategies and configurations you can use to improve Seattle. Rebuilding Seattle is for 1 to 5 players, ages 12 and up, plays in 60 to 120 minutes. It's going to carry an MSRP of $49.99 when it arrives in stores in January. Yes, I find this pretty interesting. Although, strangely enough, in fact, we're seeing the image right now. The landmarks are, a lot of them are modern landmarks, such as the Space Needle and the football field. Sort of like, what? So I don't know if this is played over certain eras or if it's all just a mix of various different things. Gotta say, I like Seattle. I used to travel to Seattle quite a bit. I used to deliver RVs around the country. And one of the dealerships that I went to quite a bit was in Seattle. In fact, it was, about a 10-minute bus ride from SeaTac. And I had friends who were out there. I think they still live out there. I really haven't talked to them too much past couple of years, but I'd go drop stuff off and hang out with them. Sometimes I'd spend the night there. And I like Seattle quite a bit, although downtown is weird. Like, it was one of the strangest downtowns I've seen in any major city. So a lot of people just like hanging out doing nothing. So, all right, who else do we have popping on into chat? We've got William Hella's Eyes, Sly Blue Demon, and Doug Roberts is with us. Doug Roberts going to cause trouble again? I don't know what Doug was talking about yesterday. I saw something like, yeah, I'll try not to cause trouble like I did the other day. And I'm like, I didn't see anything. I must have missed it. Russell Higgins is hanging out with us as well. Doug says, nope, not going to cause any trouble. William says, listen to some grunge. Yeah, like I said, downtown Seattle was kind of unusual. And I mean, you couldn't walk like 5 feet without somebody asking you for a handout. It was weird. Moving right along, there is a new standalone core set / expansion for Dark Souls, the board game. It is currently arriving in stores. Here's the skinny on Tomb of Giants. No relation to They Might Be Giants. Confront this iconic boss and his skeletal horde with Dark Souls, the board game Tomb of Giants, featuring new foes, player characters, treasures, event cards, objective cards, and more. Tomb of Giants gives you an evocative new area to explore from the original Dark Souls video game, and a standalone core set containing everything needed for thrilling campaigns in Lordran. No other purchase is necessary. It's also backwards compatible with existing Dark Souls, the board game products, so you're free to combine monsters from different areas for expanded campaigns. This includes 18 miniatures, one large boss, 3 characters, one mini boss, and 13 enemy minis, 4 double-sided game tiles, 3 character boards, 3 token boards, 1 campaign dashboard, a rulebook, 15 dice, 169 cards, and 2 health dials. Confront an all-new threat with the terrifying Gravelord Nito. He's Nito! Nito Keen. No, it's Nito. And his skeletal horde. This standalone game requires no other purchases to play. It's important that you keep that in mind. It's got revitalized community-driven new rules. And once again, it is backwards compatible with all existing Dark Souls, the board game products. Do you dare venture into the deep, dark places of Lordran and confront the terrifying undead? Nope, I'll pass. No thanks. I'm too scared. Dark Souls, the board game, A Tomb of Giants, is for 1 to 4 players, ages 14 and up, plays in 90 to 120 minutes, and it does carry an MSRP of $109.95. You can thank the miniatures for that pricing. So there are a few standalone, well, okay, I shouldn't say few. I know there are 2 new standalone core game expansions for Dark Souls, the board game. I've never played it. I got to say, the miniatures always looked pretty impressive. As you can see right now, those are the baddies. And that is a pretty large Gravelord Nito. I think that would be the Gravelord, unless it's something else. So, William asks if I'm into painting figures. I enjoy it. I'm actually not too bad at it. I never have time to do it anymore, though. Sorry to say. I, about 4 or 5 years ago, I was trying to show my nephew Cameron how to paint minis. And he got into it a little bit, but it didn't stick. So William says, I hear you. Yeah, unfortunate. But I love miniatures. I totally dig it. In fact, you may not know this if you don't religiously watch this show, but I used to airbrush 1/6 scale figures as well. And they used to call them garage kits. But that sort of all dried up because unfortunately, pirates in China started selling basically pirated molds, or I should say they were pirating the figures and making molds and selling stuff. And you couldn't tell, was it legit or was it not legit? But yeah, I used to pick up Amazing Figure Modeler all the time. I think that, if I remember right, I think that was a quarterly magazine and really dug it. William points out they've got all the old Grenadier figures. Oh my gosh. I was just talking with somebody the other day about Grenadier figures, and I had a few of the boxes, but the detail on them for quite a few of them was just awful. They really were. They weren't, the detail just wasn't very good. But I mean, that was kind of all miniatures back in the day. They're not like today when you, like, Reaper makes some beautiful stuff. And of course, we're looking at Steamforged right now. They look like they're pretty good plastic minis as well. But yeah, those Grenadiers. What was the one? The Assassins? Wasn't it like Thieves and Assassins box? I remember that. I didn't buy it. Somebody else I knew had it. And it was like, oh my gosh, that detail is just so soft. It's awful. How about talking about some role-playing game news? Because currently up for crowdfunding for Mana Project Studio and Don't Panic Games is the Cowboy Bebop role-playing game. Here's the scoop. For the 25th anniversary of this legendary series, join the always cool Spike Spiegel, the investigative genius Jet Black, the alluring Faye Valentine, the amazing but weird Ed, who just happens to be a girl. I don't know if that's a spoiler, seeing this is 25 years old, but still. And the super smart Welsh corgi named Ein, as they try to make a buck in the year 2071. How did they do it? They're bounty hunters. I wouldn't really consider Ed and Ein bounty hunters, but okay. While focused on their constant struggle to capture bounties and pay the bills, perhaps the crew of the Bebop should be more concerned by what may catch up with them. Ghosts from the past, psychedelic mushrooms, and justice-obsessed cowboys, Spike, Jet, Faye, Ed, and even Ein have their work cut out trying to make ends meet. Cowboy Bebop is a Japanese animated television series, movie, and other media. It's set in 2071 and centered on the adventures of a gang of bounty hunters in space. The story delves into the unresolved issues of the protagonist's past, exploring concepts such as existentialism, boredom, loneliness, and the influence of the past. The goal for this project is to produce a hardcover book of approximately 240 full-color pages, including an original game system based on D6 dice to overcome the difficulties the characters face, rules to create your own custom bounty hunter, his past, present, and future, the tools for the narrator, the big shot, to set the events in the world of Cowboy Bebop, creating customized bounties. Everything you need to interact with the famous characters straight out of the series. The characteristics of spaceships and their mechanics of use. There's also going to be an in-depth look at the Cowboy Bebop universe, its planets, and space travel, and much more if the stretch goals get hit, which I don't think is going to be too much of a problem because this Kickstarter project is already over 1,700% funded. You can reserve a copy of the hardcover core book for a $49 pledge, or simply snag the PDF for a $19 pledge through November 16th. Expected delivery is November of next year. Yes. So Russell says their corgi's name is Fred. Russell Higgins points out it's also a semi-lame Netflix reboot. Okay, so gotta be honest, I did not watch it. The reboot. I have seen Cowboy Bebop. It's one of my favorite animes. But no, I did not. And I know people were like, come on, dude, you should really check it out. It's all right. It's like, I think really the major reason I didn't watch it is because I know the end. That's why the movie that came out, which Japanese animators like to do this. They like to have a series and then they'll come out with a film. Sometimes they call it an OVA. Sometimes it's a theatrical release. But they'll have a film come out. It's like set during the series. So if you've watched Cowboy Bebop, you know that the final episode is final. So it's another one of these kind of things. Like I was telling my friends back when Solo was going to come out, I said, you know what? I don't know how well that's going to do because everybody knows Han Solo dies. So it's like, do I really want to watch a character who's dead? Russell says, I still don't do Kickstarter. Sly Blue Demon says, running this with the soundtrack playing in the background would have been great. So, there is no video for this Kickstarter. I would have thought for sure there would have been, but problem would have obviously been if they used the music from the series, which is fantastic. It is amazing. It's some of my favorite anime music ever as well, I'd get a copyright flag. So I would violate copyright by including that music. But yes, the funny thing is, I have actually been listening to the original soundtrack from the series on and off for like the past month out of nowhere. I don't know what I stumbled across, I think, a video of one of the songs. I was like, oh yeah, I've actually got that on CD. So I ripped it and then, anyway. So Flaming Huron's with us in chat. Good to see you, Flaming Huron. William says Closet of Curiosities was pretty cool. That I haven't watched yet. Although I do understand there are count them, two H.P. Lovecraft stories. So, yes. So I will get around to watching it. I think I pointed out earlier this week, I haven't been watching much on streams or TV or anything like that because I've been reading a lot of these role-playing games to get reviews out. So that's how I'm spending most of my evening. All right. Anyway, I am super excited for this. I got to be honest, I don't back Kickstarters normally. I think I'm going to back this. I think I am going to throw my hat into the ring, keep my fingers crossed that it is pretty cool. But last thing I'll say is if you are a fan of jazz, and I got to be honest, I'm not really a big fan of jazz, you will love the soundtrack from this show. Yes. Isn't it Yoko Kano? If I remember correctly, is the composer who does just phenomenal work with a lot of different anime series as well. All right, moving right along. Now available in PDF is a revamp of the original Delta Green role-playing game releases. And it is from Arc Dream Publishing. Here's the dope on The Conspiracy. It's been 24 years, a month, and 2 days since the bastards brought us down. In that time, we've come back strong, doing things they couldn't conceive of. They think they understand us, those who know we're still around. They think we're cowboys, meddlers. They think we're just too pig-headed and selfish and old to let go of what we once were. They know nothing. There you go. Thank you very much. I will now accept my Academy Award. In Delta Green, cosmic terror meets modern conspiracy. Delta Green is a secret group dedicated to protecting humanity from unnatural horrors, misappropriating the resources of the U.S. government to wage a war they must at all costs keep hidden. The Conspiracy is a 1990 source book for Delta Green, the role-playing game, an updated, rearranged version of the original 1997 Delta Green source book with new art and graphic design, new appendices by Shane Ivey, editing by Shane Ivey and Caleb Stokes, and a foreword by Ray Winninger. Delta Green won the Origins Award for Best Role-Playing Game Supplement. The Delta Green line has consistently been some of the highest-rated role-playing books of all time. The Conspiracy brings those original infamous horrors to the light of a new age. The Conspiracy includes Agents and Friendlies, the Delta Green Campaign, Delta Green, the Fungi from Yugoth, Majestic, the Karatechia, Saucer Watch, The Fate, Feds in the 90s, Security Classifications, a Glossary, Mysterious Manuscripts, New Rituals, Bibliography, and an Index. Entry 1 has been breached. Time to get this show on the road. They have no idea the kind of hell I've prepared for them. May God have mercy on my soul. The 231-page PDF, which I gotta be honest, that sounds like that's a pretty low count. I may be wrong, but that's a lot of content. And I had the original Delta Green, and I seem to recall it was a couple hundred pages. I don't know. But the PDF is available over at DriveThruRPG for $24.99. So William says, got him singing Delta Dawn. Delta Dawn. I forget what what is it? What is it? Delta Dawn. What's that? Oh, what's that flower you've got on? Is that it? I don't know. Yes, my mom used to play that song when I was a little kid, a wee little kid. I'll tell you that much. Fly Blue Demon says that they're waiting for the hardcover for this, but they might just grab the PDF because they really want to check this out. There you go. Sarah D is with us, and Sarah D has pointed out, yes, what's that flower you have on? My gosh, isn't it weird how memory works? It's like I haven't heard that song in decades, at least. Got to be at least 45 years. And it's like, damn, I gotta remember that. Yes, Testy Trekkie says the PDF of this is lovely. Yeah, as you can see, they have given it the, modern Art Dream Publishing graphic treatment here. So Christopher Rush is with us. Says they're watching, they're lurking. Sweet. So we got one last news piece. Now out in PDF for Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay is Skeleton Crew. Here's the deets from Cubicle 7 Entertainment. Geheishnacht. The Cursed Night, when the Chaos Moon rises full. Or I thought that might be something you'd say to somebody after they sneeze. Gesundheit. Or as I used to always joke around, Gesundheiten. Just a made-up word. Anyway, the Cursed Night, when the Chaos Moon rises full and the dead do not rest easily, approaches, and violent storms have racked the northern coasts of the Empire. On the tiny island of Odiner, the captain of a small trading cog is tasked with delivering a cargo of the unconsecrated dead to a safe harbor before they become restless. The characters are roped in to assist him, but the journey ahead of them is sure to be troublesome and perilous. This spooky scenario for Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay takes place upon the ocean waves, and while the Sea of Claws supplement is not needed to enjoy the scenario, it would help provide additional ideas and details. Skeleton Crew is a short scenario that can be completed in a single session, filled with spooky goings-on and mysterious events. The scenario contains all the rules and background needed to include Captain Vengheist and his ship, the Shade Wraith, in games of Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay. The 22-page PDF is available right now over at DriveThruRPG for $4.99. Sweet. I think this came out on Halloween. I think it came out the evening of Halloween. I just ran across it yesterday. But I had already put together the news for yesterday, so I had to wait till today. But this is kind of starting to build up to what we're going to see. There's a new campaign adventure that when I interviewed Dominic McDowell at Gen Con, we discussed. It's going to be a completely brand new WIFRIP campaign, and I think it takes place in the north. And this is another adventure that's sort of leading into that. That's why we've got Sea of Claws that had come out as well. I got to be very honest. There's been a big shakeup in the marketing department over at Cubicle 7 Entertainment. I don't know. Still trying to iron some things out with the new people or person. It's supposed to be people, but I guess it's only one right now. So, been very hit or miss on getting news pieces from Cubicle 7 Entertainment. And I hope we iron that out because they are one of my favorite companies out there. All right, that is it for the news tonight. Of course, I was just talking about DriveThruRPG. Don't forget, the gaming gang, thus the Dispatch, is affiliated with the One Bookshelf sites. So if you are going to go visit DriveThruRPG, please stop by thegaminggang.com first. Click on one of our banner ads. That way, if you happen to make a purchase, I get a small portion of that sale. All those nickels, dimes, and quarters really do add up and help keep thegaminggang.com around. Also, if you like this video, if you dig the channel, if you find the gaminggang.com to be a valuable resource, hell, if you just like what we do, you can always stop by paypal.me/thegaminggang and making a small donation. And a big tip of the cap to those of you out there who use those banner ads and or stop by from time to time at paypal.me. Lastly, time is running out on the 50/50 game sale to benefit Extra Life. Tomorrow is the last day for you to purchase any of the almost 180 remaining role-playing games, board games, miniature games, what have you. War games, I'm surprised that I still have my hands on the war games. Those usually go like first. But 50% of what I bring in minus PayPal's gateway fees is going to be donated to Extra Life. So keep that in mind. So tomorrow will be the last day that I will be splitting the, I don't want to say profits, but whatever comes in with Extra Life. As far as this coming Saturday, I got to be honest, I don't think I'm going to do a live stream for Extra Life. I don't think many people will show up. And I feel like a total dope sitting there trying to, do a live stream and raising money and like I raised $25. I'd be like, what am I, some sort of idiot? So Christopher says they ran kids on bikes for their wife on Halloween. So yes, because Christopher picked up kids on bikes in the 50/50 sale. Yes. You're very welcome. Christopher's like, thanks for the book. Well, you bought it. I didn't give it away to you, but yeah, I hope you enjoy it. So another reason why the prices are pretty rock bottom on these games is I would just like to see them get played, go to a home that people are going to pull it off the shelf. Cause gotta be honest, I got a lot of great stuff. It's just, I don't necessarily get to play it. So it's, like I said, there's like almost 180 games and that's what I'm selling. It's not talking about what I'm keeping. So, alrighty then. Coco B says they're still waiting sadly, but we'll join Twitter just to show them off when they arrive. Yes. Yeah, somebody else had gone on Twitter and they posted the package that they got from the 50/50 game sale. I thought that was kind of funny. So those of you out there who have taken part, thank you for doing that as well. I have not totaled everything up yet. So I will tell you what the total is on Monday's show. MC is with us in chat. Looks like we got a pretty good chat going on right now. So one last thing that I do want to mention before we jump on into our first look at Wretched Space. And of course, you know what's coming before that too. I notice it seems as if YouTube is not sharing the Gaming Gang videos like they were. And I don't know why. So once again, I do want to point out, if you watch the shows, if you hang out in chat, please give a thumbs up to the video. And if you have an opportunity, just leave a quick comment, because what YouTube looks for is they're looking for engagement. And of course, a thumbs up counts for engagement. And of course, commenting as well counts as engagement. But yeah, it was kind of weird because I don't know, our traffic numbers are not, our view numbers, I mean, they're not down tremendously, but they are kind of down. So very unusual. I don't know. Once again, I am not like some SEO master and things like that. So I guess if I just did 10-minute videos, like 11-minute videos, I guess that'd be better. But I don't. So it's like, okay, whatever. All righty. So before we jump on into Wretched Space, I think it's time for a brief intermission.
It's intermission time, folks. Time out for a delicious snack in our sparkling refreshment building. Every item a fresh, appetizing taste treat.
For your convenience, we have an attractive snack stand with a parade of items to tempt your taste. Buttered popcorn, golden good and hot from the popper, sizzling hot dogs, cradled in fresh, fluffy buns, ice cream treats and other good things to eat, plus ice-cold Coca-Cola. So bright, so bracing with the taste and tingle all its own. Pause and refresh with a Coke at our snack stand. Right now.
Boy, I'd give $1 million for a cup of Wilkins coffee.
Okay, Buster, pay up.
I am the Remco Frogman. On land, a commando. With rifle, watch, crash helmet, and walkie-talkie.
Frogman alert! Change to underwater gear.
Spear gun. Weight belt with shark knife. Face mask. Aqua lungs. My orders. Explore shallow water with snorkel. My motor-driven propeller powers me. My flippers guide me. The deep dive. A dangerous assignment. New worlds. New adventure. Marker boy tracks me. Too deep. Too deep. Lifeline brings me to the surface. The realistic Remco Frogman is now available wherever fine toys are sold. $11.98 for both land and water. Remember, every boy wants a Remco toy, and so do girls.
My God, that Frogman is huge. They had to be like 3 feet tall. It's like, holy cow. Russell Higgins says, $11.98, that's big bucks. Had to be one of the worst looking toys I've seen, though. That face was like, okay, so it's like, the hell was with the mouth? Yes, I get it. You put the breathing apparatus on it, but could have made it look more like a mouth. MC says, I want a Remco Frogman. And yes, Wontkins did come out on top for once. I think I've seen one other Wilkins coffee ad that he kind of comes out, in better shape coming out of the commercial than he went in. Alrighty then. So tonight, I'm going to take a first look and page through Wretched Space from the Red Room. It's written by Miguel Ribeiro with Joe Coombs and Sylvia Clemente. I believe the artwork is all AI, so we will see that in just a moment. This 236-page PDF is available over at DriveThruRPG for $11. Obviously, we're going to be looking at a physical book. So, and I could have swore there was a print on demand, but that pricing isn't there anymore. So I'm kind of curious about that. So let's swing on over to the other camera because here I've got Wretched Space. So I will point out that if this is like AI artwork, computerized artwork, it's actually pretty decent. Because I have seen some that just god awful. It's like, oh my goodness. Right, so a few things I do want to point out before we dive on in. The fine folks over at the Red Room were kind enough to provide me with this copy of Wretched Space. They also sent along Wretched Bastards and Wretched Epoch. We'll be taking a look at that in a bit. MC says it's bloody tiny. So this is digest size. I assume MC's talking about the book. So, anywho, they were kind enough to provide me with this review copy. But of course, as always, neither I nor anyone else affiliated with the Gaming Gang has received any other sort of compensation for me to share this coverage with you. Important that you know that. Also, I'll stay picture in picture up here, as always. So that means as we take a peek through, we'll probably be cutting off a little bit of the upper left portion of the book. We're not going to look at each and every page, but I want to get a good feel for what is in Wretched Space. And I do want to get an idea of what kind of mechanics Wretched Space uses as well. MC says, maybe my hands are just massive. No, you've seen me like waving that. You can tell I don't have massive hands. See what the back has to say. It says, Wretched is an old school role-playing game designed to play anti-hero characters in a cinematic setting. In Wretched Space, the genre is space opera, but unlike most other space operas, this one isn't about heroic characters whose actions have significant consequences for the future of civilization. Here you are meant to play on a smaller scale, and the higher purpose your character serves is his own self-interest. That doesn't imply you're playing a villain. You can still traverse the galaxy enjoying extraordinary adventures and possibly even helping others. The characters will most likely commit crimes and exhibit contempt for other people's rights and well-being, but perhaps they will wind up saving the day. All right, let's take a peek inside. So, as I mentioned, this is print on demand from DriveThruRPG. And I can't tell you if this is like standard or premium. So we get our open game license. So right there, that's telling us something. Telling us what kind of mechanics we're probably going to be looking at. So you're going to take on the role of anti-heroes. Han Solo is a good example. A rogue, I guess we could say. So we've got a brief filmography. So some movies that can inspire you. There you go, Logan's Run. I remember that movie. That movie had way more nudity in it than I originally thought. I saw it a few years ago. I was like, wait a second, there's actually some nudity in this. And then I thought, oh, you know what? Because I saw it originally on like ABC. So like, oh, that's why I don't remember that. So we've got all the Star Wars movies, Space Truckers, Galaxy Quest, Spaceballs, Dune. I mean, they're kind of rolling out just about every science fiction movie out there. Okay, so we've got 3d6 for strength, intelligence, wisdom, dexterity, constitution, and charisma. Consider adding comeliness. It fits the sleazy facet of the wretched mechanics. Never thought much of the comeliness addition there. So you're going to choose a concept for your character or roll stats and decide it later. So you're going to roll for abilities. So you've got transgressions. So I believe that you need to choose one of these for your character. So we have wrath, greed, sloth, pride, lust, envy, and gluttony. 7 deadly sins there. So, William says Ernest Borgnine, Black Hole. Yeah, there you go. That's how I'm going to play. Russell Higgins is like Farrah Fawcett. Yes, Farrah Fawcett was in Logan's Run. In fact, I think that was is that the first movie she was in? So I thought it was interesting, just throwing out a little Logan's Run trivia at you. I have read the 3 novels. The first one was pretty good. that the movie is based on. But in the book, it's the age of 21 that you go to Sanctuary, not 30. And Michael York and I'm trying to remember the actor who played Richard Jordan. Yeah, it's Richard Jordan, not Robert Jordan. Or is it Robert Jordan? Maybe it's Robert Jordan. No, I think it's Richard Jordan. Both of them were over the age of 30 when they made that movie. All right, so we've got some different races here. And we've got some requirements if you want to play these races. So we were talking about Cowboy Bebop earlier. One of the things that threw me off is, yes, Kevin points out Robert Jordan wrote Wheel of Time. Yeah, that's why it was popping in my head. When I said Jordan, I'm like, I know it wasn't Michael. But yeah, Russell points out, yeah, those actors were too old to pull off 21. Everybody in the movie would have been too old to pull that off. Yeah, Logan's Run actually had one of the largest miniature sets built for the city. So, movie's okay. It's all right. William says they died in a giant bug zapper. Yeah, sort of. Kind of. All right, so here we have our classes. So we have classes and we have archetypes. So we've got investigator. Oh, okay. So then some of the archetypes are bounty hunter, cop, FSA agent, private eye. We have pilot, which is a class. Scholar is a class. So we have the character class table. So we've got assassins, cyborg and transhumans, conjurers and shaman. Is all of them? Nope. Investigator, pilot, psionic, rogue. There's a scholar again. All right, so this is our character creation here. Then we got skills. Oh, well, here we go. William points out that they're digging the art. So Russell points out that Logan's Run, some of it was filmed in Dallas and Fort Worth, and some shots were in the Houston Galleria. Yes, I know. I remember hearing about they shot some scenes in a mall, and you can really tell it's a mall. But then again, that was what, 76? So at that point in time, malls were actually kind of new and wow. Nowadays, malls are dead. So we've got the different skills. So what are the skills going to do? Are they going to give you a bonus? Because it looks as if this is utilizing some relatively standard sort of D&D mechanics. So here it appears. So we've got difficulty classes. So that is more 5e because you don't have difficulty rolls in like AD&D or OD&D or basic, expert, so on. So I am very unfamiliar with 4th edition D&D. I think we've discussed that before. Were there difficulty numbers in 4th edition? I don't know. So we've got cooperation, opposed roles. Okay, every character with skills at +1. Oh, okay, so people get basic skills at +1. And then I would take a guess that your other skills, you get a +1. I would think you get a higher bonus than that. Or maybe the skills are a little different. So let's take a peek. Let's look at survival. The character can remain alive in a wilderness environment by finding edibles. Oh, like food edibles. Oh, okay. Potable water I should say potable water and a safe shelter. Art, creating works of art. The skill can be bought separately for different artistic pursuits. You get a +2 bonus on rolls. So it's all going to depend on what the skill is. Some of these skills just tell you you get this ability, and others are going to give you modifiers. So we got perks and drawbacks. So we've got ambidextrous, athletic, gunslinger. Drawbacks, we got addiction, bad luck, dirty little secret. This looks pretty interesting so far. William's asking, how is the paper quality? It's solid. It's good. One thing I will point out is that, and maybe this is why we're not seeing the print on demand price on this, is it's pretty tight on this border here. So, I mean, I really have to push this down, really open this up. Or, you know, most people, you read a book like this. But I do kind of see that you really have to kind of really open it to be able to read it a little easier without some of this stuff getting cut off. All right, combat. So we have reactions, initiative. The one thing I'll mention that I have had some discussions with some folks recently about, and they were telling me that a game can't be considered old school if it doesn't use mechanics from original D&D, AD&D, or Basic Expert. And I said, no, I don't think that's true. I think, in my opinion, old school is more of a mindset as opposed to a mechanical set. So now, remember, I said old school. I didn't say OSR, which good luck finding two people who agree with what the definition of OSR is, let alone what it is. They can't even decide to agree on what the O, S, and R stand for. I always say old school Renaissance. This is looking kind of interesting. So we've got combat. I'm taking a guess. We are just rolling to meet or exceed a DC. Is what it appears to be. Yeah, so I see we've got DCs here. So negative effects of drugs. Critical hit tables. There we go. So we have unarmed critical hits. 2d6. Looks like what we've got there. So we have melee, and then we have ranged weapons. Got a bit of a bestiary. Yeah, this artwork is pretty cool. Gear and augments. We got weapon implants, biotech and cybertech augmentation. I was going to say, I assume we're going to have a section here with vehicles and that. So William says, Tunnels and Trolls, Lonely Rainy Days. Yeah, you know, funny enough, Tunnels and Trolls is old school. Kevin points out RuneQuest. Yeah, you know what? That's, in my opinion, that's also old school. So Kevin says, I wonder what these people think of the retro clones of old RuneQuest. Come on. We understand how a lot of people are in this hobby. Come on. So your fun is bad fun. You can't have your fun. It's bad fun. I mean, it's like, if I say it all the time, everybody's having a good time around your table, Nobody's getting their eye poked out. Nobody's getting their feelings hurt. And your players are coming back the next week or whenever you're getting together. You're doing things right. Russell Higgins points out Traveler. Yeah, I mean, Travelers, in my opinion, that's super old school. I mean, you're basically 2d6. So we've got some psionics. Looks like this is pretty packed. I wonder if we get an adventure. We even have magic in the supernatural. All right, so these pages, because of the dark background, they kind of like stick out strangely because of the print, because of the ink. That's kind of wild. So we've got rituals. Yeah, there's everything but the kitchen sink in here. Mazes and monsters. William mentions Wretched Legion. All right, what's this? Okay, so it's the setting. Wretched Space is primarily meant to be setting agnostic, but there are plans to release one or more setting books. One of those will be about the Wretched Legion. We include here a short description of that planned game universe. Okay, so we got a bit of that. Like we've got some of our old school tables here that we can throw in. People died, says William, of Mazes and Monsters. Nobody died. That was all a bunch of BS. So there's discussion of Tom Hanks. You know, Tom Hanks doesn't like discussing that movie. I believe that is something that if you're going to interview Tom Hanks, I believe that is actually mentioned that is something you're not supposed to discuss. So I don't blame him, because it turned out that whole book was just BS. It was the private investigator just pulling stuff out of the air. I almost said someplace else, but I'm trying to keep this a family-friendly show. So Russell says no one can defend that movie. It has been a long time since I saw that. I've only seen it once, and I thought it was ridiculous. I really did. Like, come on. Kevin says it was one of those awkward early career choices. Well, at that point, what? He had been on Bosom Buddies. I think that was it. I don't think he had even been. No, I was going to say Splash would have still been probably a couple of years away. Well, you can say awkward early career choice, but there have been some actors who made far worse than that. All right. So I think is this an adventure? Kind of looks like this is, plot hooks. That's what this is. Okay. So I was going to say, we have these different tables, events aboard a ship. Why was your character arrested? Huh, interesting. Get an NPC name generator. And then we have a character sheet, which I would assume you can probably download a copy of this as well. William says, yeah, probably pre-bachelor party. Yeah, I would think so. Coco B says that they watched the movie on YouTube a couple years back. It benefited from nostalgia. Joe versus the Volcano is okay. Wow, it's been so long since I saw that movie. There you go. Kevin's pointing out, yeah, William Deere was making stuff up for various reasons and didn't admit it for years afterward, mostly to protect Dallas Egbert's younger brother from blowback over his brother being gay. And then, of course, unfortunately, he ended up committing suicide. So, but that had nothing to do with D&D. Anyway, we'll continue this discussion in just a sec. So this is Wretched Space. It is from the Red Room. And as I mentioned, this is obviously a print on demand. And this is from, as far as I understand, this is from DriveThruRPG. But I am not seeing an option for print on demand at all. And like I said, it may be because the binding, there isn't enough, I forget what they call it. It's kind of like the inner border of the page, because this is a pretty tight squeeze in there with the text. So that may be why there's no print on demand option right now. But you can get the PDF for $11. And of course, I will have a review of Wretched Space in the very near future. All right, let's swing on over to the other camera. So there, we're discussing a little bit about mazes and monsters. And once again, it's not like I'm some sort of expert or anything like that regarding the background of this story. But I do understand that there was like a map. The kid had a map. I think it was in his dorm room that he had like pins in, and they were trying to figure out what did this represent, because it wasn't like a map of like the state or US or anything like that. And they actually took the map to TSR, and Gary Gygax and someone else, trying to remember who it was, the two of them sat down trying to figure out what did this map represent. And it turned out they couldn't figure anything out, but turned out it didn't mean anything. So Kevin says, my understanding is he went into the Michigan State steam tunnels to try to commit suicide. And when that failed, he ran away, ended up in New Orleans before he was found. I thought he also ended up working at like, was it an oil well? Something like that. Yes, Tim Kask. I think you're right, Kevin. I think it was Tim Kask who was, because I think at that point in time, they were working on AD&D together. So, yes. William says Chud was born. Oil rig. There you go. Yeah. Right. Don't know. But the other thing I was going to mention was, I guess, I don't know if it's in the book because I've never read the book, to be honest. I've only heard in retrospect that it's a lot of BS. But I had heard that the private investigator actually played D&D with some people to get a better idea of what it was. And he actually enjoyed himself and could tell that it wasn't something that was, oh my God, it's, demonic or gonna take me over or any nonsense like that. So I don't know. All righty. So that's it for tonight's show. Once again, I'll have a review of Wretched Space in the very near future. I'll see if I can find out why this is not a print on demand at the moment. Because I could have swore when these books showed up last week, I took a peek and I saw the print on demand option. So I don't know. Kathy says that they found a copy of the book, but they haven't read it yet. You'll have to let us know how it is. Seriously, let us know when you finish it up. Tell us in chat. All right, everybody. So that is it for this time out. Next week, I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know what I'm going to share. I did talk to my contact over at Paizo Inc. Turns out Kingmaker hadn't shipped out yet, or at least they didn't ship it out to me yet. It is coming, but who knows when. So I don't know. All depends. Maybe something will show up over the weekend. I'll bust out. I've got stuff. It's not like I'm like, oh my gosh, what could I possibly do? Right? Well, nothing came, so I can't do a show. Sorry. Anyway, once again, don't forget, thumbs up on the show. And if you can, leave a quick comment. Whenever you watch one of the videos, if you got a minute, just, throw a sentence out there or something. Be nice, though. All right. Anyway, if you like this video, and hopefully you did, please give it a quick thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And if you do subscribe, ding that bell. It'll not only let you know when the Dispatch streams live Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday evenings right here on YouTube. Also let you know when I upload other videos, such as my upcoming review of Pathfinder, Crown of the Kobold King from Paizo Inc. Everybody who was watching live, thank you very much. If you took part in chat, a much bigger thank you and extra experience points for you as well. You'll be able to spend it on your Wretched Space character and maybe get rid of one of those flaws. Anyway, I know a lot of you out there don't have an opportunity to watch live. Doesn't matter if you're watching live or on Memorex. Thank you very kindly for taking time out of your busy life to watch any of the videos here on the channel. Everybody, enjoy the rest of your morning, afternoon, evening, whatever time of day it happens to be in your neck of the woods. Have a great rest of the week and weekend. I'll be back on Monday. And of course, here's hoping each and every one of you gets to enjoy plenty of great gaming. Your gang.
And now, folks, it's time to say goodnight. We sincerely appreciate your patronage and hope we've succeeded in bringing you an enjoyable evening of entertainment. Please drive home carefully and come back again soon. Good night.
Oh, hey, you're still here. Well, that's okay. You don't have to leave just yet. In fact, why don't you subscribe to the Gaming Gang channel right here, or take a peek at the latest live stream, or even find out what YouTube recommends you check out from the channel. And of course, I'm Jeff McAleer. Thanks again for watching.